The man is clearly a lecherous and alcoholic tyrant. His daily task is to flirt with the young man of Liang family, but also teach the beauties in the harem ideological lessons. As for the government, he not only ignored it, but even to have more fun, he handed over all national affairs to the treacherous. However, the result was that his dynasty not only did nothing happen, but instead it has been smooth sailing, and the country's strength is growing. The people even spent a lot of money. They spent a lot of money to worship men day and night. And all this because Tu was a dead Jainan who traveled through time. Not long ago, while he was browsing videos and doing something shameful on his computer screen, a question suddenly appeared. If you could go back to ancient times, which dynasty would you most like to travel to? Seeing this, he directly cursed. To travel back to ancient times, what the hell is this stupid question? So he turned on the keyboard warrior mode. Thanks for the invitation. What's wrong with you? Was there Crazy Thursday in ancient times? Are there any pretty girls doing jaiwu? If you go back, you have to risk all kinds of bus deaths. And he may not even be the emperor with the harem. So this era is the best. You should be grateful. And just after he posted this passage, a flash of light suddenly appeared in front of him. The next second, he directly became a puppet emperor of the Dakin dynasty. And with the integration of memories in his mind, he also understood his current situation. The late emperor Qianyuan died. He ascended the throne as the fourth son of the late emperor. But in fact, the host he traveled through, Tu, was not the designated successor of Emperor Qianyuan. It's because Tu is ignorant and immoral. So he was chosen by two treacherous ministers in the court and was chosen as a puppet to inherit the throne. Just when he thought he would be used as a puppet and manipulate him, a voice suddenly came from the bracelet on his hand. The kingdom dating system has been activated. Hello, host. I am your AI system assistant, the bracelet. You can call me Dabin. Hearing this, Wu Yu was completely shocked. Then, what the hell is Wangguo Benqian? Dabin continued. This system is generated by the host's wish. Simply put, as long as you can bring down the previous dynasty, you can return to the modern world. Come on, I will do my best to assist you. As long as the previous dynasty is overthrown, you can return to the modern world. This setting is a bit bizarre. Tu Yu was stunned when he heard this, and the beauty beside him looked at him with a puzzled expression. Why is this useless Prince Huthi in a daze? He used to smile lewdly when he saw me. Why does he feel different today? At this moment, Huthi also looked at the beauty. Just by looking at her, he found an unusual scene. In his eyes, the beauty not only had a six-tailed fox on her head, but also a profile box of the beauty appeared in front of him. Damn, I can see like playing a game. Seeing his profile and data, it seems that this is the help provided by the system. Why impressed? But at this moment, Uncle Zhao felt a little uneasy, because when Tu looked at him just now, he felt that in Tu Yi's eyes, there seemed to be a light flashing. On the surface, it seemed that they were looking at each other. They actually had different intentions. Wu thought to himself, it seems that this young lady is the traitor, arranged to spy on me by my side. But this lady is so beautiful, which is a bit irresistible. But Uncle Zhao on the side was a little scared. My proud acting skills has been seen through by His Highness at a glance? It shouldn't be. Just then, a person stood up in the hall and said to Huda, Your Highness, I've noticed that you've been absent-minded since just now. Is there something on your mind? Wai looked down at the person who spoke. He thought that this person should be one of the two treacherous ministers who held power. Then, Wai began to look carefully at the two people below. The person who spoke was called Lai Tianyuan. He was the former right prime minister. He looks gentle and refined, but in fact he is a scumbag. The other is the former left prime minister Zhao Zhuo. who was arranged by him. The edict was left with Tu. After reading the ability values of the two, Tu Yu felt very heavy-hearted. Li Tianyuan's political skills and scheming are really amazing. Although Zhao Zhuo's values are slightly lower, but he has no flaws. He is simply a hexagonal warrior. Seeing that Tu hadn't replied, Zhao Zhuo said, Lei Lao. The prince is probably worried about not sitting firmly on the throne. Then Zhao Zhuo also stood up, looked at the coffin of the late emperor and said, after all, the will of the late emperor ordered the prince leading the army to return immediately. Now we violate the will and prepare to support you to ascend the throne. It's normal to be worried. He even proudly patted the coffin of the late emperor. Although the old man can't push the coffin to kill me. But what about Tu Su? Then he took a step towards Tu. Anyway, the news of the emperor's death hasn't spread yet. And the imperial seal is also in our hands. Why don't we strike first? Let's fake an imperial decree. Let Tu Su accompany the emperor. Hearing Zhao Zhuo's words, Wu Le felt very anxious. If according to their plan, the imperial decree to kill Tu Su, then I will be the emperor. Not only can't we quickly complete the kingdom's goals, but also become a complete puppet beast. When they thought of themselves traveling through time, not only can he see the girls dance anymore, but also be controlled by 2 old coins. Wu Yi felt speechless. He looked at the imperial seal in Zhao Zhuo's hand. So he made a decision. He grabbed the jade seal from Zhao Zhuo's hand and then held it high. Now I am the emperor. I will keep the jade seal from now on. I decide who to kill and who not to. That's right, what Tu was thinking at this time was, since I can't beat you, then let you do it. As long as I die, won't the country be destroyed? And his move really angered Zhao Yun. You're already showing off before you're crowned. I have the ability to help you ascend to the throne. I have the ability to kill you. And Tu was overjoyed when he heard this. He said to Zhao Zhuo gradually, then come on. Come and kill me. Hearing this, Zhao Zhuo was so angry that he wanted to strangle Tu. Seeing this, Xiao Shu quickly pulled Zhao Zhuo and shouted for him to calm down. At this time, Li Tianyuan couldn't stand it anymore. Don't argue, please. We all have the same goal. How about calming down first? Seeing Li Tianyuan's calm face, why, and it seems that I still need to add more fuel. This can't make you angry. Hey, it seems I need to add more fuel to the fire. Just as Li Tianyuan was about to persuade them, Wu Yi suddenly let go of the jade seal. And then there was a click. The jade seal fell directly to the ground. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, my hand slipped. Why don't you just kill me? The reason why Tu did this was because in the previous dynasty, the jade seal symbolized luck and authority. Breaking the jade seal is a capital crime. Tu thought that by provoking them to this extent, they couldn't bear it. They would kill him on the spot. Sure enough, seeing the jade seal broken, Li Tian's face turned livid, Xiao Yi, as if it was about to overflow the screen. Zhao Zhuo even pointed at Tu and shouted, You actually broke the jade seal. Do you know? However, before he finished speaking, Yi Tianyuan stopped him. Your Highness. No. Your Highness, you're joking. The whole world belongs to you. Let alone an imperial seal. It's broken. It's not a big deal. Tu Yi was stunned by this. No, this is not what the script says. Then Li Tianyuan said, it's getting late. Your Majesty, please rest early. Let's talk about other things another day. We'll leave first. Looking at the backs of the two leaving, Hu Yi was very unwilling. He shouted, hey, wait, isn't it the same crime for a prince to break the law? It's the same as common people. Why not kill me? When the two returned to their own mansion, Zhao Zhuo was very angry. To get rid of such a disobedient puppet, he must be removed. Hearing this, Li Tianyuan said, Lord Zhao, if you get rid of the servant, do you know what the consequences will be? And Xiao Zhuo couldn't care less about the consequences. You are spineless. You still call that kid. Your Majesty, Li Tianyuan looked puzzled. Tu Su is leading the army outside now. If the late emperor died in the imperial capital mysteriously, do you think we, as the most trusted ministers of the late emperor, would we be the first to be attacked by Tu Su? What's more, the Jade Seal was broken by Tu Di. We have one less bargaining chip against Tu Su. Judging from the current situation, the only one we can rely on is Tu Di, who is about to ascend. So we can't get rid of him for now. And at this time, Xiao Zhuo also reacted, wait. You mean Tu Di destroyed the Jade Seal to prevent us? Deliberately destroyed the Jade Seal. That's right. Tu Su was originally a stumbling block on Tu Yi's path. But now Tu Yi's succession is a foregone conclusion. Now, has to reconsider his relationship with Tu Su. Tu Su, who holds military power, though Tu Su can make you and me in the court, to be cautious in the court. But he can't completely control Tu Di. If we force Tu Di to step down, he might let Tu Su go free. It might lead to a situation of mutual destruction. So we can't listen to Li Tianyuan's analysis. Xiao Zhuo doesn't care. He thinks Li Tianyuan is overreacting. Li, you're overthinking it. As for Tu Di, how could he have such a mind? To calculate to this point, Li Tianyuan's face was serious. Do you know who said the emperor breaks the law? The same crime as a commoner. That was from 100 years ago. The words of Wei Xingyu, the prime minister of Qin state. Lord Wei was highly regarded by the King Qian and implemented new policies. He was powerful. He was second to no one. But in the end, he lost the trust of the previous king and was punished by chariot splitting. Xiao Zhuo still didn't take it seriously. So what? I'm not for execution. I will never bow to that guy. He relies on nothing but Tu Su's troops. Since he didn't issue an order, I will send my own people to kill him. And then blamed it all on Tu Di. The final result would be the same. But at this time, Lei Tianyuan secretly thought the reason why he chose Tu before was because he was the most controllable among the emperor's many children. But now it seems that this kid is hiding very deeply. Your Majesty, your descendants are really interesting. Meanwhile, the other one, who was unaware of his own foresight, who was oblivious to his own foresight, is about to go crazy. Without mobile phones and computers, I'm dying. And the food here is not delicious. And there's nothing to play. And even read the memorial sent to him. The key is that I'm in pain, and I don't know a single word. At this moment, Wu Yu noticed someone walking towards him. He looked up, who was arranged by Zhao to spy on him. Xiao Shu said shyly, Your Majesty, I'm going to start serving you. Seeing the delicate beauty in front of him, Wu Yu immediately had a nosebleed. Hey, I take back my words. So after a passionate release, Wu Yu lay on the bed with a proud face. Hey, I can't control it. I can't control it at all. When Zhu dragged his somewhat drained body, stood up. She thought that although she was a little reluctant to miss Miss Zhao, but it was still the most important thing. So, Miss Zhao, seems that you have to kill me. Then he turned his back to Uncle Zhao and shouted, You are actually the mole sent by Xiao Zhuo to me. Hearing this, Xiao Shu was shocked. What? How could I be exposed? Your Majesty, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Don't worry. I don't care about your private communication with Xiao Zhuo. He placed you here, just to control and monitor me. I enjoy playing this game with him. Otherwise, being emperor would be too boring. And hearing this, Xiao Shu, his psychological defense was completely shattered. What? My adoptive father deliberately sent me to him. But In his opinion, it was just a game. At this time, Tudi was drinking and said, "Hey, this wine seems to be a bit strong." Then he directly laid down on the table. He thought that the girl was exposed by me. She should be anxious. If I give her such a big flaw, I don't believe he won't do it. After Uncle Zhao knew his identity was exposed, he knew that he had lost his value in Zhaozhuo. Lost his value. So he slowly took off the hairpin on his head. He couldn't help thinking. There was only one way to save the situation now. Then he took the hairpin, walked towards Venom quietly. Hearing Zhao Shu's approaching footsteps, Wu Yi was very excited. Is he finally going home? But at this moment, the system prompt sounding appeared in his ear again. The kingdom dating system has been upgraded. This update aims to make the host's goal clearer, which adds points. The system currently has an initial vitality of 1,000. As long as Boli wins, it will be considered as a task completed. Hearing this, Tu felt a chill in his heart. The points. Does that mean even if I'm killed now? As long as the points are still there, I still won't be considered as losing the game. This time, the system gave a clear response. Based on the host's current status, even if he dies, it won't lead to the clearing of points. Hearing this, Wu Yi felt very bad. Why didn't you say that earlier? That little girl is about to kill me. But at the last moment, he learned from the system that even if he was killed, the Qing dynasty would not fall after he was killed. Wu Yi was completely dumbfounded. He quickly turned around and grabbed the imperial edict. He couldn't help but feel relieved. He was so lucky that he almost messed up. At this time, feeling that he had been tricked, Zhao Shu, there was a flash of determination in his eyes. Taking the gap, he stabbed the hairpin hard again. But Tudi just pushed him gently and pushed him to the ground. Then, Tu even picked up the hairpin that fell on the ground to scare him. "Xiao Shu, you are too impatient. You are aroused to kill me with just a few words. This is not a qualified commoner." Then Tudi slapped Xiao Shu and knocked him out. When Xiao Shu woke up again, he found that he was not dead, nor was he arrested, but lay back on the bed again. He opened his mouth in fear, Your Majesty. "You won't kill me." Tudi stretched lazily and said leisurely, I said, "This is just a game. I won't kill you. But pretend not to know and let you spread the message." Then he came to the desk, picked up the pen and paper and said, "After all, the game will be interesting. For example, now, I want you to write an interesting imperial decree." Saying that, Wu Zi began to write in a wild and unrestrained style. Seeing Tuju's serious face, Xiao Shu thought that Tu Di was devising some big move against Zhao Zhuo. But he didn't know that. Tu Yi just couldn't use the brush. That's why he did so. Then, Hu De stopped writing and said to him, "Uncle Zhao, come and help me write." Hearing this, Uncle Zhao was very puzzled. In his opinion, maybe Tu they had some bad ideas, so he asked cautiously, "No. I don't know what decree Your Majesty wants you to write. You just write that all Tu family members, including Tu Su, all be removed from their titles and demoted to commoners." Hearing this, Uncle Zhao was startled. He really didn't understand the purpose of Hu Yi's operation. Abolish the family's minister. Why? So he plucked up the courage to ask, "Your Majesty, I dared to ask, why did you ask me to write such an imperial decree?" Hearing this, Hu Yi thought to himself, why? Of course, it's to deduct national strength points. He had asked the system before. Weakening the influence of the Tu royal family was the easiest way to deduct points. Meanwhile, once the Tu family's children become commoners, but also create an image of a tyrannical and foolish king, I'm really a genius to come up with this idea. But when facing the inquiry of the edict, he said coldly, "Why do you ask me?" of course to increase the difficulty of the game, saying that he touched the imperial decree's face. I not only become a lonely person without family support, but also be called a sad, cold-blooded, and foolish king. I let you knead paper, and then asked you to tell Zhaozi the good news. He will be very happy. This information is my gift to you. You must not let me down. So, under the operation of the system prompt sounded again. The host issued an edict. Demote the two royal family to commoners and weaken the power of the Deccan royal family. National strength points decreased by 200. The current national strength points are 800. The next day, Xiao Zhuo's mansion sent a decree to report the decree. Xiao Shu just finished reporting the situation to two traitors. Xiao Zhuo slapped him to the ground. Bitch, did you leak our secret? At this time, Xiao Shu blushed, sitting on the ground with grievance, sitting on the ground crying and saying, Father, uncle, no, don't play tricks on me here. We were just about to depose him and establish a new prince. He just beat all the two family members, and if you hadn't helped him deal with it, he could let you know. Just then, Li Tianyuan stepped forward and said, Xiao, calm down. If Xiao Shuxi issued the decree, how could we know about it? This should be Tu Lai's plan to sow discord, and also to warn us. Don't be ambitious. After listening to Lai Tianyuan's words, Xiao Zhuo also calmed down. He also knew that he was a little impulsive just now. So he quickly helped the edict up. Sure, I was wrong to blame you just now. You won't blame me, will you? I dare not. Then Xiao Zhuo said to Lai Tianyuan again, Li, it seems that your plan to form a new army is useless. So let's see my plan next. I will mobilize the ministers, humiliate him when he attends the court for the first time, and let him know who has the final say in the court. Meanwhile, on the other side, Wu Du was thinking about, what other methods can I use to deduct the base? Then he suddenly had an idea. Yes, the kings who lost their countries in history, besides cronies, also ignored state affairs, rob women, and have many concubines. Then I'll do it this way. The late emperor's body is not cold. If I issue an edict to forcibly recruit the ministers' families and take concubines into the palace, I don't believe these ministers won't be angry. Tu the waved his hand and pointed to the eunuch beside him, asking Xiao Zhuo and LV Tianyuan to come to the imperial study. I have something important to tell you. When the two arrived at the imperial study, Wu Yu warmly entertained them. Don't be polite, my dear ministers. Just treat it as your own home. After they sat down, Xiao Zhuo intended to teach this disobedient puppet a lesson he has already planned. Tomorrow, to humiliate him with the ministers in the court. So he said, Your Majesty, you have ascended the throne. Would you go to court tomorrow to get familiar with the ministers? Tu these secretly wanted to usurp the government, which is a plus. I'm so stupid. I just ascended the throne and went to court. So he drank while saying, and said that going to court was too troublesome. I have no experience in being on the throne. Anyway, I trust you too. I'll leave the court affairs to you too. And Tu Yi's statement made Yin Tianyuan wake up again. Sure enough, Tu this saw through Xiao Zhuo's thoughts again, and even subtly resolved it. Xiao Zhuo's simple plan, were nothing in front of him, and Tu this saw that the time was right, and planned to reveal his purpose. Let's not talk about going to court. Today, I have something to discuss with you too. Hey, I'm now the emperor. But there's only Xiao Shou in my harem, which is really embarrassing. So I decided to recruit beauties to expand my harem. As soon as he finished speaking, directly shocked the two great traitors. Isn't he a typical tyrant? The late emperor just died, and you're already thinking about that. He specifically recruited us. He only talked about the harem. What's the routine? Later, Tuai excitedly said that in a hurry. We don't need to search for beauties all over the world. Let's just search in the capital. Moreover, I also thought of the most time-saving and effortless way. Let's start with the female relatives of the court ministers. When the two walked out of the imperial study, they were still confused about Tu Yi's intentions. Xiao Zhuo was a little puzzled, although he didn't know what this guy was up to, but he was courting death. It can save us a lot of trouble. But when Li Tianyuan heard this, yelled at him, "Lord Zhao, if you continue to underestimate the emperor, the fate that awaits us will be the beheading of 9 clans. You don't think about it. You just plan to humiliate him in the court. He has already cracked it. It shows that he knows our intentions like the back of his hand. The news could not have leaked. It can only mean that he has calculated in advance. And now, in addition to not going to court, but also expand his harem. These actions seem to be lewd and unrestrained, but I think it's a chain of plans against us." Xiao Zhuo was also sweating profusely when he heard this. What does a chain plan mean? Do you know why he has the confidence not to attend court? Because he is confident. He can control the government without attending court. By taking the families of ministers into the harem, by marrying their family members to directly win over the ministers? This is blatant. He's poaching our officials in the court. However, since the emperor has issued an order, as his subjects, we naturally have to satisfy him. A few days later, under Li Tianyuan's arrangement, the harem selection officially began. Looking at the group of bright beauties in front of him, Wai was so excited that his drool flowed down. Is this the paradise? Seeing this scene, Yi Tianyuan was darkened. The concubines who entered the palace this time, most of them are noble daughters-in-law who are not powerful. On the surface, there is no problem. Only these 2 women, Fan Touzhu and Zhu Zhishao. They are both daughters of noble families, because the 2 families offended the late emperor and were executed. The one in charge of the execution was momentarily soft-hearted. He secretly rescued the 2 girls. Over the past 10 years, he raised them secretly and kept their identities hidden. He hoped that one day they could inherit their fathers and become an important pawn in his hands. Now, taking advantage of this harem selection, he plans to place them by Tu Yi's side. The problem now is how to get Tu Yi's attention. But before he could finish thinking, they saw 2 looking at the front with shining eyes. These 2 little followed his gaze. Tu Yi accurately locked onto the second daughter. This shocked LV Tianyuan. This he noticed. But in fact, the main reason why Tu noticed the 2 girls was the 6-dimensional root ring on their heads. After looking at the 2 women's general situation, Wu glanced at Li Tianyuan. It turned out that these 2 women were sent by Li Tianyuan. Well, this kind of snake and scorpion beauty who disrupts the harem are the standard of a tyrannical monarch. So he stared at Zhu Zhishao and said, "This lady looks very nervous. What's your name?" Hey, your majesty. I'm Zhu Zhishao." Seeing this, Li Tianyuan turned livid. Oh no, Asha is an introvert. Under the pressure of Tu Yi's momentum, she might show her flaws. And Tu Yi also supported Zhu Zhishao at this time. Don't be afraid. I'm actually very approachable. However, the next moment, Zhu Zhishao trembled all over, as if he had reached the peak, and then passed out directly. Tu Yi was shocked when he saw this scene. I haven't done anything yet. At this moment, the system prompt sounded. It detects that Zhu Zhishao has an unknown and not recorded in the system's hidden attributes. In a state of emotional tension, being touched by the opposite sex's sensitive areas, including but not limited to the chin, he will faint due to shame. Seeing this scene, Li Tianyuan on the side was so frightened that he knelt down and said, "I chose the wrong person. Let this woman have power in front of your majesty. I'll take her away immediately." But at this moment, Wu Yi waved his hand. "I don't need anyone else." He thought that his plan to subvert the country relied on them. So he picked up the unconscious Zhu Zhisha, saying that this woman is deeply loved by me. I like this type of woman who, and can't stand it. She will sleep with me tonight. As to the finished speaking, he looked at Fan Toju beside him, thinking that this beauty was also sent by Lei Tianyuan, so he decisively said today, "This lady will also serve in bed tonight. In order to destroy the country as soon as possible, Li Tianyuan's all plans must, to succeed." But after all, he just slept with these two women. He couldn't see any difference from their beauty. While Tuda was thinking about these things, the two women were also sizing up to in fact, before they came here, they had already prepared for everything. But at this moment, Tu just looked at them quietly. However, this action, that made them even more scared. At this moment, Tu finally asked the two ladies, "Do you have any talents or specialties?" Hearing this, the two girls immediately felt relieved, because just before they came, Li Tianyuan specifically warned them that Wai is not just obsessed with beauty for so long. If you want to gain his trust, they must show their value beyond their beauty. So Zhu Zhisha said, "First, I'm good at divination. Divination, feng shui, health preservation, medicine, and alchemy." Later, he was even more shy to say, and the art of love. Wu Yu nodded with satisfaction. It seems that this is the strength of a generous woman, although her constitution makes her faint when touched. And being good at the art of love is a bit unreliable, but she was still good at other aspects. Later, Tu Yi turned to the three pigs again. "This young lady." At this moment, Fan Toju remembered his past. He came from a family of merchants. He followed his grandfather to various business occasions. He was influenced by it, but also good at calculating wealth, but also good at calculating people's hearts. But his grandfather's possession of these two skills, which finally angered the late emperor, and ended up with his entire family being killed. So Fan Toju had already made a plan. He wanted to show his value while he also needed to present himself as harmless. So he said, "I am a weak woman. I have no talents or specialties. Although I was born, but my parents are both dead. The only thing I can show is the family's wealth." Hearing this, Tudi was surprised. "What? Both parents dead and a fortune? Isn't this the ancient version of Hitanxia?" Later, Tudi thought that since the information of the two of them can be identified by the system, it proved that these two women can contribute to our great cause of destroying the country. But in fact, what the two women are good at is indeed so. Fan Daozhu was born in a profit-seeking family, from a merchant family, making false accounts and corruption, embezzling public funds, and so on. In the future, the task of emptying the treasury and collapsing the economy will be her task. And Fang Shi's family is Zhu Zhisha. Yes, being obsessed with Taoism and alchemy is a hallmark of a fool. The task of emptying my body will be handed over to Miss Asha. So Wai directly said to Fan Toju, "As the king of a country, how could he be interested in your family's wealth? On the contrary, Miss Zhu, I will give you the treasury to manage for me." Hearing this, Fan Toju was stunned in place. "What?" "I'm cool." Wai ignored Fan Toju, who was stunned. He turned to Zhu Zhisha and continued, "Miss Asha, since you are so talented, I'll make you the imperial tutor, and also manage the imperial hospital, and be responsible for making pills for me." Zhu Zhisha, who heard this, was also stunned. And V really didn't understand why she was suddenly entrusted with. Meanwhile, on the other side, Zhao Zhuo was forging an imperial decree in his study. He will use a fake decree to make the prince commit suicide. Then he took out the forged jade seal and stamped it on the fake decree. Wu Yan doesn't want to issue this decree, then I'll do it myself. Although the Prince Tusu is good at leading troops, but he's not smart. He is the most loyal. As long as I give him an imperial decree, even if he commits suicide, he will do it without hesitation. As long as I use this trick to get rid of Tusu, Tuyu will have no support. At that time, he will be at my mercy. Then he found his confidant general Xiao Xin. Xiao Xin, you set off immediately to Lingtong factory in Beijing. Give this decree to the commander of the Shenbei army, Tusu, and you must witness Tusu's suicide. And bring back his head. I will give His Majesty a great gift, just as Xiao Zhuo was imagining, that he was about to solve Tusu. He didn't know that there was a person on his roof. Heard everything clearly. After learning about this, wrote a secret letter about what he heard, and sent it out. Soon, when Xiao Xin was still heading towards Lintong City, on their only way, a group of men in black had already ambushed here. The leader was a woman wearing a butterfly mask. He whispered, "Everyone, get ready to attack." Seeing Jia Cheng and Xiao Xin's men getting closer, the woman in the butterfly mask shouted, "Let's do it!" And the whole team was blown up. Then, the men in black immediately jumped out to intercept the rest. The ignorant Xiao was still shouting, "You rebels! How dare you intercept the imperial decree?" However, only one, Zhao Ming, was controlled by the leading woman. "You are the one who doesn't know your life." At this time, Xiao finally realized his mistake. "You are from Kun position." But before he finished speaking, the woman directly killed him with a knife. At this time, the woman's subordinate came to report to Zhao. The imperial edict was indeed found from the convoy. Seeing this scene, Zhao said with a cold face, "That idiot. It seems that the emperor has ordered Tusu to commit suicide. Since it's the emperor's decree, Lord Zhao, our Kun position's tonight's action." "Action tonight?" Jian Yu heard this. Xiao directly threw a stone at that person and then said angrily, "Only a few days have passed. You have forgotten our original intention. It was founded by the late emperor. Only light, only Qian can give birth to Kun. Kun is the predecessor of the Daqian dynasty. To protect the quality of the late emperor, they act ruthlessly and bloody means, and only loyal to the emperor." At this time, Xiao Shuli held the imperial decree, said resentfully that the late emperor had appointed Tusu as the prince. Now the emperor has passed away. We should follow his last wish to assist Tusu. But now Tudi not only seeks to usurp the throne, but also wants to get rid of the prince. At this point, Zhao angrily crumpled the imperial decree into pieces. Since that's the case, Tudi is the enemy that we Kunwei must eliminate. Now the Prince Tusu is far away in Beijing. It takes at least 4 days to travel back and forth. So within 4 days, there will be no abnormality for the time being. Before that, I will personally kill Tudi. On the other hand, Tudi suddenly sneezed. He was still playing poker with beauties in the harem. I wonder which beauty is thinking of me. 5 days later, Xiao Zhuo anxiously paced back and forth in his mansion. "Xiao Xin, this idiot. It's been 5 days. Why there is no news coming back?" Just then, Li Tianyuan walked in. "Lord Xiao, what are you waiting for?" Looking forward to Li Tianyuan's arrival, Xiao Zhuo was obviously a little guilty. "No, I'm not waiting for anything. It's so late." "Why are you here, Li Tianyuan?" I'm here to bring you good news." "And a bad news?" Xiao Zhuo's face tightened. "What bad news?" Li Tianyuan smiled slightly and continued, "You forged the imperial decree, and the plan to kill Tusu failed." Hearing this, Xiao Zhuo's face changed instantly. "You're talking nonsense. When did I forge the imperial decree?" Seeing this, Li Tianyuan shook off his hand. "Lord Xiao, we have the same position. There's no need to deny it. Zhao Qing was killed in the suburbs 5 days ago. And the killer was Xiao Kun, the leader of Kun Guards. the shadow directly controlled by the late emperor. No, how could it be? Li Tianyuan smiled, and then continued, let's not talk about this. Lord Xiao, let's continue to listen to the good news. The good news is that although Xiao killed Zhao, but he mistakenly thought that the one who issued the decree, the next person he was going to kill was Tu Yi. Hearing this, Xiao Zhuo was originally very happy. Good, it's satisfying. However, the next second, his face suddenly changed. Wait, Kunwei has always been alone. How did you know such a secret matter? It's none of your business. I have my own way. This time, Lord Xiao is lucky. It's a blessing in disguise. We can use this matter to break the emperor's blessing, the balance between Tu Su and you and me. Tonight, His Majesty is having a banquet in Qianyuan Hall. There are many people. If he wants to kill, he will probably do it tonight. So I slightly manipulated things. I made tonight's Imperial Guards particularly lax. Moreover, now Xiao is the representative of the Kun position, Tu Su. So whether the assassination is successful or not, Tu Su will be blamed for assassinating the emperor. At that time, he will lose his righteous name. Even if he holds heavy troops, he will no longer be feared. After saying this, he turned and walked out of the room. I came here to inform Lord Zhao. I'll take my leave. After leaving Zhao Zhuo's mansion, Li Tianyuan thought, the whole plan is under my control. But the only thing I can't predict is His Majesty. It stands to reason that the Zhu and Xia I sent, their fathers died at the hands of the previous emperor. Their hatred for the royal family is the greatest. And over the years, the idea of revenge I have implanted in them. Tonight's assassination, they should also wait for the opportunity and take action in chaos. Although they are smart and quick-witted, they are not as scheming as Your Majesty. I hope this is just my paranoia. At this time, the unsuspecting servant was in his front hall, holding the Kangde Paike that he longed for. With a shout of Your Majesty is here, Wu Li made his debut with two beauties by his side. But at this time, a foreign beauty was staring at him. She was the leader of the shadow troops founded by the emperor, the leader of the Kun position, Zhao. Looking at the scene in front of him, Zhao Lai couldn't help but think that Wu Li is really licentious. Everyone's dress is so outrageous. However, what surprised him was that these beauties in the harem clearly have no martial arts cultivation. But he knew that these concubines have a strong murderous intent. He couldn't help but sigh that the harem of the tyrant is really terrifying. Suddenly, with a shout of Your Majesty is here, Ode finally appeared with two beauties by his side, made his appearance. Then he even flirtatiously threw a kiss. He threw a kiss. Seeing this scene, the many beauties in the audience, they screamed like crazy towards Wu Li. Your Majesty, I love you. Your Majesty, I want to have babies with you. Seeing such a crazy harem, Zhao in the crowd was also speechless. After looking around, Hu Li also noticed Zhao in the crowd for a moment. He was shocked, because from his perspective, there was a six-dimensional graph and information. Zhao was the late Emperor Tu Qianzhen's bodyguard, the leader of Kunwei. He is good at lurking, theft, and assassination. He is loyal to the former Crown Prince Fu Su, to support Tu Su to ascend the throne, intending to assassinate Tu Di. Meanwhile, Xiao Jian and Tu Di kept staring at him, and he was also vigilant. That tyrant looked at me in a strange way. So, in order to avoid a long dream, he decided to take action directly, quickly and decisively. He immediately took out a dagger and shouted, "The tyrant, die!" and was ready to stab Tu. However, he never expected that. Before he could make a move, a man rushed towards him. Your Majesty, I'll take him down for you. Seeing this, Zhao threw the man aside. At the same time, the many concubines all rushed towards him, while shouting, "Stop him quickly! Don't let this little slut steal the show." And Zhu Shao, who was with Tu that Fan Dao and Zhu Ji were surprised and said, "Could this be the essence of the exam?" It turned out that 5 days ago, when Tu Di was preparing to hold a cosplay party, he gave everyone an ideological education. My dear concubines, I have decided that on the night of to hold a cosplay official harem banquet. A confused concubine asked below, "Your Majesty, I'm ignorant. What the exam pray is?" Wu Yi patiently explained, "Cosplay is role-playing. My dear ones, go to the index finger area, put on various beautiful clothes, and play various roles together, and then happily play games with me." At first, everyone was confused. But when they saw the moment when they took out the dagger, everyone suddenly understood. The essence of the good thing lies in the fun and excitement of role-playing. Because in their eyes, disappearing and playing as an assassin at this moment was having a fun game with 2D. So in order to prevent this person from dominating the limelight, everyone rushed up. Although they said they were protecting 2D, but their hearts were darkened. Does this little girl know the rules? She wants to take the lead. Have you asked for our permission? They want to attract the emperor by this crooked way. No way. However, seeing these people blocking her, Zhao was a little surprised. The tyrannical emperor is clearly lewd and tyrannical, but these concubines are willing to protect him. What's so special about this picture? And the next second, he also made up his mind that he didn't want to hurt others. But since this is your own choice, I won't show mercy to you. Seeing this scene, Tu was also shocked. No, these concubines are important human resources to ensure that important human resources for me to complete the kingdom's tasks. They can't have an accident. So he said to Zhao, "Stop. Let go of that girl." Hearing this, Zhao was stunned. The tyrant not only didn't take the chance to escape, but also stopped him. "I have some courage." Seeing this, he directly said to Tu, "Do you want to die for them? If you trade your life for theirs, I'd be happy to kill a few less people." But Tu the thought in his heart that it's not the time. Before the national strength points are deducted to 0, I can't die yet. Otherwise, the task of destroying the country will fail. I can't go back. So he said, "Sorry. I can't die now." While saying that, he headed towards Xiao. "But I can give the throne to Tusu in exchange." The purpose of your assassination, isn't it to let Tusu ascend the throne? Xiao heard this. Xiao was shocked. My identity and purpose have been known to him. Could this be a trap? To be honest, I actually just want to be a lazy and incompetent king. The throne is not as fragrant as the harem. I have neither the talent for governing the country, nor the desire to be emperor. I'd better give it to someone capable. Hearing this, not only Xiao Yao, all the beauties in the harem were also confused. How could someone not want to be emperor, but also said that? At this moment, Wu the suddenly received a system prompt. Ding, system prompt. The host's behavior triggers a sudden national disaster. Chen Tiao is back. Chen Tiao is back. Trigger condition 1. There is a general with heavy troops outside. Second, the host is threatened and forced to surrender. If not successful, it is considered as the event completed. 1,000 thin profit points will be deducted. Hearing the system's prompt, Wu Yu felt that he had made the right bet. Originally, my risky move was just to prevent Xiao from hurting the concubines, but I didn't expect to directly trigger a national event. However, when he heard what Tu said, Zhao was also very suspicious. Is there anyone in this world who doesn't covet power? Could it be the trick of this foolish king? So he directly said to forget it. Whether what you said is true or not, as long as you are killed, Tusu can still ascend the throne. Seeing this woman so ugly, why, he hurriedly said that if you kill me now, It will only make Pusu bear the infamy of a tyrant. Even if he ascends the throne, it will be illegitimate. I do this all for the sake of my dear prince brother. And when he heard this, Zhao suddenly remembered what the late emperor had said to him. Zhao, I founded the previous dynasty and quelled the Northern War. But can I be considered a good emperor? Before Zhao could react, the emperor continued, my methods are only suitable for fighting in troubled times. Now, the great Jian Chao no longer needs an emperor like me. I know my time is limited. I just hope that the successor, even if he is not as good as me, or even being absurd, as long as he can be tolerant and uncontested and not be eager for quick success. Zhao always thought that the emperor was referring to the crown prince. But now, in his opinion, and being absurd and tolerance, these 2 points in Tu Di are very consistent with the behavior of the late emperor. But at this moment, Zhao suddenly changed his expression. Prince Wusu is the legal heir of Daqian. How could I be swayed by a few words from Tu Di to be disturbed? Then he directly killed the heart. He thought to himself to control Tu Di first and bring him to the emperor for further consideration. So he said, since that's the case, please go to Lingtang City in Beijing with me to complete the handover ceremony with His Highness Tu Su. Hearing this, Tu Yi was overjoyed. Great, as long as he sees Tu Su and successfully complete the handover ceremony, his mission would be completed. However, just as he was about to agree, a figure suddenly stood in front of him. Wait, you want to take the emperor hostage? Have you asked the captive in my hand? This person was Zhu Zhisha, arranged by Le Tianyuan. Seeing this scene, Zhao, who had already let down his guard, became serious again. I'm still too naive. The words he said just now were all lies. Now, in his eyes, Tu Lai is just a villain who is good at playing with people's hearts. In fact, Uli was also quite confused. What's going on? This woman was not sent by Li Tianyuan. She shouldn't be hoping I die. Why would she come to protect me? At this time, he was confused. He didn't know. Knight Li Tianyuan sent them into the palace with a purpose. He specifically instructed them. Do you know what the main task is after approaching Tu Di? What is the most important task? I know, to find a chance to kill the tyrant Tu Di, to avenge our family. Hearing this, Li Tianyuan smiled. Qin Huang Tu Qianjun, to avenge the blood feud of your 2 families. It's not enough to just kill Tu Di. Your ultimate task is to let Tu Qianjun establish the Daqin kingdom. So, you should ensure that Tu Di lives well. Originally, I thought he was among the princes, the most incompetent one. I let you go to his side as a demonic concubine to seduce the kingdom. But this was just my initial plan. Because after Tu Di ascended the throne, his performance seemed to have changed. His previous stupidity and incompetence seemed like a disguise, which made me more and more unpredictable. So you have to replace me. Find his flaws up close. Young girl saw this solemn expression on Li Tianyuan's face. See such a solemn expression on Li Tianyuan's face. You two must remember that. You must not let him stand with Tu Su. So he began to persuade Zhao directly and subverted his beliefs. Just as Zhao was persuaded, about to take Tu Di to the prince, the traitor Li Tianyuan, Zhu Zhisha, placed by Li Tianyuan beside Tu Di, suddenly stood in front of Tu Di and protected him. Confused, Tu Di had no idea. It was arranged by Li Tianyuan. Everyone around Tu Di, the most fundamental purpose was to prevent Tu Di from cooperating with Tu Su. Seeing the two fighting fiercely, Tu Di was very anxious. He must control Asha's actions. Only in this way can he complete the system task. Suddenly, a thought flashed through Tui's mind. Yes, how could he forget Asha's weakness? Tu Di quietly came behind Zhu Zhisha at this time, and then put his hand around her waist from behind, and pinched her chin with one hand. He said, as the emperor, How could I let my beloved concubine protect me? At this time, Judisha also turned red, and she felt like a deflated balloon. This is his hidden attribute. As long as the opposite sex touches his sensitive areas, including but not limited to the chin, the whole person will be paralyzed and start fainting. Seeing that Judisha had lost his combat effectiveness, Tude quickly shouted to Zhao, "Quick, take this opportunity to hold me hostage." Seeing such a strange scene, Zhao was full of question marks. What's going on? Could it be another conspiracy of this tyrant? And Zhang Xiao still stood there motionless. Tude was about to explode. Why are you hesitating? It will be too late when the guards arrive. At this time, Xiao knew that prolonging it would not be good for him, so he decided not to think so much and take Hudi away first. But unexpectedly, Tude was not only a good match, but also looked like he was enjoying it. This made Zhao quite speechless. Thirdly, just as Xiao was about to leave the palace with Tude, a terrifying aura suddenly came towards them. Asa, who was originally in a coma, suddenly stood up, and his eyes were shining with a strange green light. At this time, the system prompt sounded again, detecting Judisho's hidden attribute. Second, when he falls into a coma due to male contact, he will treat other women who have contact with him as life and death enemies and further attack them.